So welcome to Training Needs Pro, and this is a walkthrough demonstration of how to use, configure the system and put it to good use. So when you log in, you'll probably be taken to the dashboard page, which may look like this, and there's really only 2 or 3 things you need to look at closely. So the first thing we'll very quickly look at would be where you view results. So if you click on the view results, you'll then see Training Needs Pro. Just click on the box, and then you'll see the search box and the list of all the employees or individuals that have registered, completed the questionnaire and registered. These are all the people who you will be analysing in this as part of the training needs analysis. So that's where the view results are. Of course, the place to start people off will be in the questionnaire. So everybody has to complete the personality questionnaire and register. And you do that in this page here. So select questionnaire. And normally you'll find that this is a big long URL with with various bits of code. This is the short user-friendly version, which you can adjust here, user-friendly questionnaire URL. You can, of course, upload your logo, which appears therefore at the top of the questionnaire page. You can select the questionnaire language, and of course you can write the thank you page. So once they complete the questionnaire and register with their basic details, you then will present to them the thank you page, and you can add your own message there. You can give them further instructions or links as to what to do next, or tell them what to expect and what will happen next. Okay, so that's the questionnaire and getting things started. And then really the only other place you need to go to when configuring this is to Tools. So if you go over to Tools, and what we're looking at is Service Topics. So if we go down here, and what you'll see is select a service. So in this case, the only one that's allocated to this account is Training Needs Pro. So we just select Training Needs Pro, and now you can see this is the library of reports, Training Needs Pro reports that have already been created. In this case, in this example, we have just created one. So let's create a new report, or as it says here, add topic set. Now a report really is just an assembly of 7 topics. So let's start fresh. So the first thing I want to do is give it a name. So let's say this was a customer service role. So it's within an organization, customer service 001, and we'll pick the topics that we care about. So let's do remain calm, can cope with repetitive tasks and work days, courteous and polite, actively listens, cares about customer satisfaction, how about attention to detail, and ability to cope with time pressures. Why don't we pick those? Was that our 7? I think so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, the reason we limit it to 7 is for purely practical purposes. If you need more than 7, then you would just create a second report, and you would look at that second report. So once you hit save, you'll see service topics have been successfully added, and it's now called customer service 001. And if we tick this box, then we can make sure it's active. Let's just save that again. Excellent. So when we go back to either here, we can go to Tools, and what we'll see is customer service 001. I have created it twice for some daft reason, and this lets you know the topic numbers that we actually used. Now you can edit that at any point in the future. So if you decide, actually I don't want to use this topic, I want to use this topic, then you simply change them, save it, and when you go back again, you'll see that those have been saved, and it's slightly different. So that's the how to actually create a report, and you create as many of these templates, many of these topic sets, reports, as you like, and you save them. So for each project you probably want a different combination for each project that you're working on, whether that's internally or if you're a consultant, whether you're working with clients, and you can save it to something, call it something that makes sense to you. So let's go and view results, and we're back here, Training Needs Pro. You'll see the search facility, and down here you can now see the topics that we selected. Now this, again, if you hover over each of these, it also comes up with what they are. So this is really just a reminder of what these 7 topics actually are. So let's see, what does this actually mean to us? Let's see if we can make some sense of this. So if we take this John Smith here, so what we can see, scoring 73 for P1, cares about customer satisfaction. Well, anything over 70 is pretty good. That's someone who has a natural aptitude in this. In this specific case, they naturally care about customer satisfaction. Kind of can't help themselves. And 65, well, a little bit less when it comes to actively listening to seek and understand what a customer says, but 65 is still not terrible. And then we get to P3, can cope with repetitive tasks and repetitive work days. Well, now we're starting to see 43, so this is not a great strength. So if we were looking at this in terms of training needs analysis, what I'd be thinking about John here would be, okay, how are we going to help him cope better with repetitive tasks and work days? Is this a training need, or is it something we actually have to do in terms of something to change that environment to make it a little bit less repetitive? How can we make it a little more interesting for John? Because clearly this is something that he would struggle with. Again, if we look at P6, natural attention to detail, well, again, what we're seeing here is that John isn't really strong when it comes to paying attention to detail, and therefore there might be more support, more training required to help with that side of things. Maybe you need to look at your processes a little bit better. And the other thing, what we've got here, 65 for P4, which is natural service orientated with a strong sense of contribution. Again, John might need a little more training and support here to ensure that the service levels are sufficiently high. Now, one other thing we'll look at here, the way that the system consumes credits is if you put credits into the system, and if there are credits in the system, each time a candidate registers, it consumes a credit. So in this application, as soon as the candidate completes the questionnaire and registers, it will consume a credit. You don't get the option because you need to see what the scores are. So what we don't know here, so for instance, we've now ran out of credit. So we had a credit when John registered, we had a credit when Kat registered. What we didn't have is any credits in the system when this candidate registered. And basically what it tells you then is you need to buy credits, and as soon as you top up with credits, then these candidates will then start, the results will start to appear and their names will appear. So how else would we use this within our training needs? Well, a couple of things we can do now. In this example here, this account, I've actually created a lot of entries, and this is ideal. If you're processing a large organization and it's got hundreds of people that you're processing, and you're looking at training needs for perhaps a whole organization where there might be hundreds or even thousands of people, then you kind of need to get to crunch all that data very quickly to make it easier for you. So what we could do here, and I'll just work with the data that we've got, there's certainly enough here. So let's say that we're really concerned about actively listening. Let's say that this for us is really important. So we're looking for a minimum score here, right? So if we go down to, so this is active listens is P2. So what we can do is we can look down the P2 and we can identify everybody who scores low. Let's say everybody who scores below 50 for this. So you keep going, these are all okay. 50, well, there's a 50. So there's someone here. And what else have we got? Oh, that's just typical, isn't it? The examples here I've got are all scoring pretty decent scores. Okay, so maybe we're looking at below 60. So anyone who scores below 60 or 70. So here's a 60 and a 66. There's another 66. So what we can do is we can identify people who clearly are not naturally strong when it comes to their actively listens to seek and understand what customers say and mean. So again, so even in this case here, 65, that's not a great score. 60, so Andrew here, this isn't a great score. So these would be the people to prioritize. So if you compare Andrew against Kat on this one issue, what we can see is that Kat is scoring 95, Andrew's scoring 60. There is probably not much need to train Kat on active listening skills because it's something she does really well, and actually she might get a bit bored or a bit fed up or even a bit insulted if she's asked to go on an active listening skills course when she's naturally really, really good at it. With a score of 95, clearly she is. So you have the option of at least prioritising, and you could make that judgment call now of saying, we'll not put Kat on this course, but we will put Andrew on this course because he's only scoring 60. There's room for improvement. He needs more support. He needs more training when it comes to actively listening to customers. So that is one of the ways that we can do this, and we can work on this side of things. So the other thing you can do is, of course, you can search on specific things. You can search on date ranges of when things were done. You can search on names. You can modify and customize the registration form, and you can ask other questions there too, which might be relevant to things in general. So in this case, we've just asked, do you have a passport? Yes, no. So I can actually, if I click yes here and do a search, it'll only show me the people who actually have a passport. So again, quite useful. And if you use the minimum score here, you can see all the people who score above a certain number. So let's say we wanted to see all the people who scored high for a certain thing. So let's say cares about customer satisfaction. So if we put in let's say 70 here, and we did a search, then all of these people will score 70 or above for customer service. So you could maybe put them temporarily into the archive, because that's fine, and then you can look again at what's left, and those people that are left are probably people you want to do some training with. So again, if you're processing large numbers, you can identify a certain list, you can select that list either one at a time or all together, and you can move them to the archive. Now you can always retrieve from the archive back into the main list again. Now once you move them to the archive, then they'll be out of the equation. You can then reset the search facility, and let's just delete that. We do a reset, and we search again, and the ones in the archive will be in the archive, and what we're looking at here is the recent and active list. So again, you'll be able to see what's left, and everybody else left would be scoring the other side of below 70. Okay, so a couple of other things. If you're buying credits, you're either going to be on a license or pay as you go, but you just simply go to buy credits or license, and you'll see the details of what's, you'll be able to buy a pack. You may have a special arrangement or a special custom price. If you go back to the dashboard, there will be training videos here as well. They've not been added to this account yet. To give you a reminder of how all this works, this video, for instance, would be placed here in the dashboard. You can, of course, change your password, and we would encourage you to do that on a regular basis. And of course, anytime you buy anything, your VAT receipts are kept here as well. So you always got a record of all purchases that you have made. The switch report facility isn't required when you're looking at Training Needs Pro. In terms of the advanced tools, things that you probably be interested in. If you're running more than one account, then you can transfer credits from one account to another. So you can have a central account for buying all your credits and then manually just transfer them to your child accounts if you like. So if you're running several accounts, you can do that. You can copy users between one account and another, so this lets you do that. The custom user registration form, well, this is probably quite important. You can create that question that we had, do you have a passport? Well, this is where you create that. So you can ask any question you like. When using the Training Needs Pro, it's best if you use yes/no type questions, because then you can present those answers and filter on them in the table. So if you've got other questions that you would like to ask, then you can put them here. You can ask in any format you like, but for presenting in the table, you want, yes/no makes it really easy to process. The gender neutrality you won't need, and that's essentially it. Okay, so that's us. That's Training Needs Pro, and do contact us if you have questions or you get stuck or you're not sure exactly how and what to do.